Well, hello, friends. Today is Thursday. May already. What? May already almost over? The 22nd. Unbelievable. Let me know, can you hear me if you're hanging out in chat? Really big show today, as you can see. Modern Age Powers pre-orders are live right now, but you can, with your pre-order, download the PDF this very moment. Oh, Frabjous Day, says Stormer. Duke says he's very giddy to incorporate Modern Age Powers into his next age campaign. I am too. But you know what I'm really giddy about? I am giddy because, we get to hang out with Malcolm today. You know him as your friendly local sword daddy. Hey, Devious, good to see you. Generally, he's a man that needs no introduction because, why, he's Malcolm Sheppard. But I like this. Oh, I liked it, and then it went away. Hi, Malcolm.
Hello.
Hold for one moment, would you please? Just 1 second. And that goes on for like about 20 minutes.
Yeah, he mutes my mic, so I can't say anything while that's going.
I don't necessarily, but are you hearing Malcolm okay, friends?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, just making sure. You might be a little quiet for me, but that could be me. Well, Malcolm, congrats. Modern Age Powers is out the door.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally. It has taken its time. This is a book that is at least 5 years in trying to get it done. Because unfortunately, it's something that we started before the pandemic.
Yeah. It kind of got trapped in the sort of between worlds. Yeah,
in the negative zone.
But now it's ready to go.
And now it's ready to go, and it is an enormous book. It has a lot of stuff. I could easily do like multiple episodes of this about this book.
Well, you heard it here first, friends.
It is very densely packed, and it essentially includes and revises and updates all of the power stuff that you've seen in pretty much every other modern age book, right?
Wow. Okay. Huge.
The only thing is it doesn't include stuff that had previous treatments in the core book, and it's missing some setting related stuff, power stuff from like Threefold and Lazarus, just here and there, but it includes a lot of that too. So yeah, it's big. It is full of character options. One of the things that excites me a lot actually is that it is full of extraordinary items. So like magical items and weird science and things from aliens and stuff. And I think it might be the age book that has like the most interesting items of that sort in it, like across all of the lines. I'm not sure, but it's pretty likely. And yeah, there's a chapter kind of devoted to each category of powers, and then there is some stuff with new power options and freeform magic, or whatever you want to call it in your game.
Oh, sure.
Ceremonial stuff, doing like combo team superhero moves, new talents and specializations, new backgrounds and professions. And a whole bunch of campaign models that that vary between like, Mortal Kombat style, like big mystic martial arts to like superpowered World War II.
Well, hang on one second. I want to just make sure folks realize that, the softcover book is up for pre-order now.
It is
$39.95, and when you buy that for $5 more, you get the PDF now.
That's correct.
The complete end-to-end Modern Age Powers book, and then you'll have something to kind of utilize in your campaigns while you wait for that softcover book to land. Which is
and we added an appendix to give you some guidance for converting this to other age games.
Oh, hey, wow. Okay, great.
To make it broadly applicable, because there's a lot of stuff. How extensive are the various magical, psychic, and other kinds of powers compared to Dragon Age, Blue Rose, 5th Season, and other age games? Well, that is a large question.
Yeah.
Though interesting, too, because I did a little work on 5th Season recently, so it's on my mind. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, there's a lot of depth. There's certainly more stuff. I would say probably this book has more in it for powers as a whole, than any of those individual books. But, we're not covered. But, that's all of the stuff in the book, right?
Yeah.
Because certainly Fantasy Age right now has, the new edition has a whole bunch of magic because we increased the number of spells per arcana in Fantasy Age, right? So that you would have multiple choices. So I forget how many it is per. Like is it like 10 now or something like that, or something along those lines. See, you can tell I'm the Fantasy Age developer, but you can also tell that I'm in late middle age. Good as it should be. But one of the things that it has in particular, where I think it is, distinct compared to our treatments and other things, is we have a whole bunch of talents and specializations and backgrounds and professions that input into different types of powers.
Well, real quick before we jump to the PDF, I'm thinking, so give the quick pitch for folks who are like, Modern Age Powers, what is it for? I just sort of imagine something that I could make into a TikTok.
It is the okay. Hold on, I'll narrow myself for the
perfect.
It is the authoritative resource for all kinds of extraordinary powers, including superpowers, psychic powers, magical powers, and powers that you can't even classify in Modern Age and in Adventure Game Engine games in general. It's 8 spells. There we go.
Excellent. Well, fantastic. Modern Age Powers, available for pre-order now. You pre-ordered it now. You get the PDF now. Should we dive into the PDF?
Yes, let's do that.
Let's do it.
We are also today going through a new technology where I can actually directly manipulate what you see on the screen.
Chad, I don't know why I've given them the power, but we'll see where
it's all about power today.
Blah,
blah, blah. So let's start on page 5. Sorry. I am also cheating by
that is a decision.
Looking at the index. So do. Okay. That is not the page 5 that I want. Maybe 7. There we go. So nice. we have a big chapter. This is the chapter that's all about magic. It's all about magic.
Art, by the way, the art in this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We got our iconics doing interesting things. So we start out, as you can see, with a whole bunch of backgrounds, right? So these are backgrounds that you can insert if you want a character who has magical ability from the get-go, right? And we have professions, right? And as you can see, we have talents that relate directly to these things. Let me look upon it with my ancient eyes. So You know, for example, if you want magical martial arts, we have arcane martial arts. And we have different ways of interacting with magic. So thank you. Oh, there we go. You know, rules for familiars, all kinds of stuff. But then, you know, and different arcane hacker, geomancer, right? Mentor, right? Occult investigator. If you want to, you know, get your, what is the name of that guy in the trench coat? The blonde
Frank.
one who looks like Sting.
It's not Frank.
Pardon?
It's not Frank.
In the comics, in DC Comics.
John
Constantine. Yeah, if you want to get your John
okay.
Constantine on. Yeah. Like, look at all of this stuff, right? And then, of course, we get into minor arcana, which we've presented in Fantasy Age and Prior Age games. So you have options for petty little spells. And, also geomancy, ritual trappings.
Does it let you scroll through that, or am I trapping you out just on the middle of that? Probably doesn't.
I think I'm trapped in the middle of it, but this is a fine size.
Okay,
like,
great.
This thing is so densely packed, I just can't grab everything. And now, of course, we go to new spells.
Oh,
right. So for digital arcana, divination, and we have some new ones in here too, like geomancy.
Ooh.
And gravity. Illusion radio.
Radio. Okay, hold on there. What's radio arcana?
Radio arcana. Well, there's a bunch of stuff you can do to manipulate radio signals.
How cool.
Right, because one of the things is we've always wanted to make sure some of the actual PDF, the words do look clearer.
They really do. Yeah. And I'm sorry, Tempo, you know, it'll look even worse for you just because of the resolution, depending on how you're watching it. So as Malcolm says.
Yes, we get into entirely new arcana, virtual arcana, which has all kinds of neat things. And you know, and new stunts directed toward particular things. And then we get to the next section, psychic power, which does all of that, but for psychic powers.
Oh.
Right. So, you know, we have kind of a common format, but I want to make I'm just zipping ahead.
Sure.
Because I want to see 34.
Yes, devious. Thank you. Con Johnson team.
Yeah. Con Johnstantine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember he was played by Rihanna Keeves in that movie.
Yeah, one of my favorite actors. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think that movie is pretty good considering that, like, you know, it was such a, you know, they screwed around with the character so much.
They did. They really did. It had a vibe for sure, but they really did kind of deviate from the.
Yeah. And also, you know, I'm not a big fan of Bush. So, you know, him beating up Gavin Rossdale, I'm totally fine with. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just not a big fan of late 90s kind of quasi grunge, but I guess that's not.
I'm not either, honestly. Anyway. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it could be. Maybe someone's out there thinking, "Oh, shit."
I've actually been thinking about 90s stuff a lot because we're currently working on an unannounced project. Set in the 1990s. But I wanted to get into this. So we also have like new systems for things like psychic breaching. So if you want to do the like Charles Xavier, I'm going to spend an issue of the X-Men getting into your mind. Right. We've got you covered.
Well, hey, real quick, I want to.
We even have a bald iconic too. So
yeah, we do.
Yes.
So there's a great question that I want to answer. Curly Insane Guy, that's our very own Cloud. For those new to the Age world, who's a big fan of superpowers, which Cloud is, you know, a big M&M guy. Is this plus the modern age basic rule book the way to go?
I would also get the mastery guide.
So what I would
Because
do if I were you, friends, is I would head on over to, because
oh yes,
the
don't we
company
have some bundles?
we do indeed, and we are celebrating our 25th year in operation, our birthday, our anniversary, and just so happens that it's Modern Age May. And
Mm-hmm.
what that means is that we've got the all-in bundle. That is the Modern Age Basic Rulebook, Modern Age Mastery, Modern Age Companion, Enemies and Allies, Threefold, and the World of Lazarus.
Mm-hmm.
That's 135. Then we have the Player Bundle, which is the Basic Rulebook, the Companion, and the Mastery Guide for $65.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all. You'll find all of that in the link that I dropped in chat. The other bundle is the GM, the Game Master bundle. That's got Modern Age Enemies and Allies and Threefold, and you can pick that up for $49.99 or $50. If you're not counting your pennies. Yeah, and that's all for this month of May. So what a coinkydink. It's almost like we coordinated this whole thing. I love it.
Yes, yes. So yeah, as you can see, we got psychic dueling, we got a bunch of stuff. So let's pop over to somewhere in the 50s. Okay, so similarly, we now have this is a similar set of things for extraordinary powers, right?
Okay.
So this is, medical experiments, cyborgs, people who wear power suits, sort of. There's some item stuff there.
Okay.
Right? And low-level superheroes. Like that, we're not okay. One thing to make clear is we are not trying to do mutants and masterminds.
Right.
So think more Arrowverse in terms of the level of power, right?
Yeah.
If you remember the now almost gone Arrowverse, especially the better parts of it, and
Yeah.
and also if you think of like television superheroes, right? Live television superheroes.
Yeah.
A lot of it is it's more like that. But again, a bunch of things. Oh, yes. And here, rules for making your own ancestries.
Oh.
Right. We have a bunch that are sort of prefab, but this is a new system for making character ancestries. It's different from the ones in the Modern Age Companion, and it's different from the one in Fantasy Age and prior age games. It is similar to the one in Threefold, where basically you can have as many ancestries as you like. And what an ancestry fundamentally does is it gives you a justification to take individual ancestral traits, right?
Okay.
So that means that you can be, half elf, half dwarf, or half elf, half dwarf, giant grandmother, right? Whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can have recessive traits come forth, because the idea is that I really wanted to get away from any kind of notion of racial essentialism, right?
Yeah. Right.
But, I also, you want to have cool stuff related to your heritage, especially if you have a heritage that is supernatural in terms of the setting, supernatural fictional, right? This
Yeah.
can also be used for people with alien DNA and things like that, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So we have rules for, all of these different, we have all these different trait packages that you can select from, right? And you don't have there's not a standard thing that makes you an elf. There is a cloud of things that you can select from, right?
Got you.
So you can be different from other elves, right? But you're kind of in the same family, because again, we wanted to get away from that essentialism.
Yeah. Right. But then in each of these ancestries, they've got cool things, and you can mix and match and sort of create a character with lots of texture, and then maybe they develop their gills at some point.
Yes, you could in fact, just to answer the question, yes, you could theoretically backport Blue Rose ancestries into modern age.
Okay, hold on real quick. Let's get the question up. So, folks who are listening, so Tempo asks, does this mean we can backport Vata, Sea Folk, Night People, and even Raiden into modern age?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. There you go, my friend. That'll make Tempo very
You just have to figure out what their particular traits are and give them a value or find equivalent ones, right? And again, we get into professions related to powers and specializations like the chosen one, right?
Oh,
Right. So if you want to be Neo, that's what you get.
right. I get
And
it.
then we have all of the rules for different enhancements and how you get them. And if you remember Cyberpunk Slice, this includes a lot of the options in Cyberpunk Slice.
Okay.
But we do less work for you, right? This one is going to be a thing where if you're a GM or player, you're going to do a lot of reading through it and you'll get all these ideas, right? And then sometimes it'll require a little bit of work to get exactly what you want. If you want ballpark, right, then it happens much more easily, right?
Got it.
But we wanted to make that, we wanted to create sort of maximum options, right? So we have a bunch of things here, and we have an example from Threefold about how powers work in that campaign and different complications you can have. And, what if powers cost money, right? What are the maintenance, right? And there are no firm rules. Steve has just done this amazing job of presenting options so that you can do exactly what you want. If you want to be a vampire, for instance, right?
Yeah.
So we have a bunch of stuff for that. And
so Curly Insane Guy, a Cloud says, sounds perfect for GMs who really like to tinker. Oh, yeah.
Yes. But keep in mind, even though you're going to have to tinker to get exactly what you want, basically, if you just follow the rules flow, right, it's not really that hard. Let me jump ahead to...
Sure.
I think it's somewhere in the 70 something or other. Where are we? Oh, wait. Did I go too far? No. Hold on. Sorry, I got a little lost, so I have to cheat and look at the index that I have on another window.
No worries.
All right, 75. Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine you are the tinker boy.
Yeah. Okay, so this is all of the meta stuff, right? So what if you want to play a robot who can take, different attachments, and those attachments determine what you can do. You got modular powers for that, right? And rules for power swapping and what the conditions are, right? And, a guide sheet for if you really want to get into that detail. Different options for things. And yes, rituals. So this is a big thing where we've had a few books now where we have rules for, taking extra time to create a special effect, right? And those have been generally key to different settings. So you in Threefold, for example, we have psychic phenomena kind of be our gateway to kind of spooky occult type magic, right?
Okay.
So we had rituals, but those were just for characters who had those particular powers. Well, now we have a more general system, and that general system can be used with anything. So it can be used with magic or psychic powers, and it can be used for things like, the fastball special, right? Where you and your power, your fellow on the team have a special move you can do, right? And it all depends on what the components you want are, right? Oh yeah, and that can be things like maybe I have to sacrifice someone to get to use this power today.
Sure. Okay.
Right. So a whole bunch of things.
Well, and today we'll be sacrificing someone from chat, and we'll spin the wheel here, and it's Duke. Congratulations.
And sample ceremonial magic, if you want to make a big army of the dead.
That is quite a genre. The cyberpunk echo
Right.
eldritch welfare corpo setting. Yeah.
Oh, and team fusion. So this is like the super oriented one, right? Team save, team will. You know, when you get the characters together to do something, we have a system
Oh,
for
so
that.
their combined might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're running, like, let's say you want to do like a Super Sentai kind of game, right?
Right.
And they have a combined move, right? Or maybe this is how you model them all, like jumping into a giant robot at the end of the episode.
Right. You know, we've got
Um,
Malcolm, we've got one of our I will say the Pied Piper of the homebrew stuff
mhm.
in the think tank. And folks, if you're not over there, you want to dive into the think tank by going to atomicthinktank.com. But Swan May says, I've said I'll wait until Modern Age Powers comes out to make a Mass Effect conversion. I'm really happy about that decision right now.
And next is something I'm really excited about. It's our thaumaturgy. And thaumaturgy is, it's our general name for it, but it's not attached to any particular genre. But it is our freeform do stuff system, our freeform magic system, even though it
Gotcha.
doesn't have to be magic in the traditional sense. And I'm excited about this. Some of you may know that I cut my teeth doing RPG freelancing on a game called Mage the Ascension, and I worked on that and Mage the Awakening, and those are well-known flexible magic type games. And also a lot of us here at Green Ronin are big Ars Magica fans. So this is right up our right up our alley. Sorry, I looked at elements while saying that. But yes, the system consists of defining elements and then combining them to do different things, right?
I
So,
see.
right.
Awesome.
And you can use it to simulate other effects or just do a bunch of different things. And you can skin it just as you'd like to.
Nice.
Which mage do you play every other Saturday, Curly Insane Guy? Is it Awakening or Ascension? What version of Ascension is it?
Yeah, give us all the deets.
And of course, right, one of the things, and this is common through it, I'll go back, is you'll see there's thaumaturgy stunts. We have specific stunts for different scenarios that you can use or not if you like, right? To add Ascension, mix it to and revise. That's the right answer. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Yeah, and shout out to Jesse Hainig, who is the person who hired me for my very first projects, is my mentor and sometimes collaborator to this day. I haven't talked to him for a while. Jesse, he's done some great work for Green Ronin as well. He did work on Dread Crawls, which is the Cthulhu Awakened scene, which has a whole bunch of cool story generator stuff. So shout out to him. Fantastic gentleman. Here is the items of power. So this is a neat thing. Another shout out to Chase Schneider and Matthew Foreman. They were the writers of Feral Hogs. And if you remember the Feral Hogs Modern Age Missions,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
There will be some news related to that not long from now, actually.
Nice.
And this has tons and tons of different items. The two of them they seem to have just brainstormed a whole bunch of things. So we have general rules for making your own, right? And the funny thing is that I used these rules recently because I play an artificer type character in my Modern Age game, as I've mentioned. I don't run Modern Age right now, but I play it. My character has gotten to 14th level, and currently I'm churning out something that gets rid of invisible people, because it's a threefold game, and we're trying to keep people from sneaking in and out of a gate. So
I see. Okay.
I know the system works because I played it. But yeah, there's just tons and tons of stuff. And one of the neat things too is we have a suggested origin for each of them, but we also, I think in all cases, have alternates. So for example, that's on this page here, right? We have a magical belt of might, right? That gives you makes you stronger and lets you lift twice as much stuff.
Okay.
Right. And so, in its base, it's a magic item. But if you look below under alternate origins, there's a technological origin, for, a harness that makes you stronger. And of course, what we call an enigmatic origin, which is like, this is just weird. Right. So, because not everything has to make sense. Right. We also have alien as an origin option, which I like because that kind of, alien phenomena stuff is a big part of pop culture that RPGs don't dig into too much, except by way of presenting something else. Like if you'll like Delta Green, for example, right? Delta Green goes really deep into MK Ultra and Men in Black and that kind of mythology, but that is to showcase Cthulhu mythos stuff, right? Yes, is when you're the silver eyes guy in Star Trek who gets god powers, and you have to wear those terrible contact lenses.
Right, that's right.
Because I remember reading an interview with I think it's Gary Powers is the actor. No, it's not Gary, but what is his name? He was also in 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is one of my favorite films. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yes, we have a whole bunch of options for where these items can come from. So if you're not running a game with magic, right, you can have it as something technological or something enigmatic or maybe something alien. It all depends on how you want to do it.
Okay.
But look at all of this stuff.
There is a lot of stuff.
Fun. There is a lot of stuff. So, and that's kind of representative. And sometimes I went a little nuts, right? Because I wanted to make these things atmospheric. Oh yeah, Stan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good news. That's
Stan's
going to be a Constantine sequel.
Yeah. Yes.
Even Constantinier. Like for this, right? We have this infiltration armor, right, which has a linkage to the threefold setting, but it's a multi-layered sort of skin-tight sandwich of stuff, and I list what each layer does. This is something that Matthew and Chase didn't do. It's just sometimes I get in there, I start tinkering, and then you get these like hyper detailed things because I just get Gary Lockwood. Yes,
Gary Lockwood.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Swan May.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. Yes. All right. So let's move along. Ton of items, like I said. And and go to
Oh, is it really? I didn't. Yeah, I knew that, Duke. I did know that. Duke is sharing that his name is Constantine.
Oh wait, no, I want to
with a K.
That makes us be able to jump ahead. 30. Is that the right spot? Okay. So this is general GM guidance. Well, it's not general actually. It's very focused, right?
Yes, I was going to say it just seems like it gets granular.
Yeah, it's very granular. It's basically a guide on how to use this book, how to use the different components of this book, right? So including like, what happens if powers from two different sources clash, right? And there being different options for that, right? And also variations on like, we use PowerPoints a lot for magic and for psychic stuff. So we give you some variations on how they get acquired and how they're recovered, right? A whole bunch of stuff, right? Like I cannot summarize it all, right? And also different options for fatigue tests, right? Because we use fatigue as an option for powers sometimes. We offer it as an option. So, we have an alternate fatigue scale if you want to be a little more merciful than like fail 3 tests and die, right? And things for power slots and a whole bunch of stuff. Like I said, more than I can really get into. So I'm going to jump to...
While you're jumping to, I'm going to remind folks that if you're just tuning in or you've, Stan in chat says, if only we had something like bundles. And I'm like, bundles? We've got bundles for days. You're going to want to head over to the Modern Age May page in our store. I've got to drop the link in chat. But we're still celebrating our 25th anniversary and will until the end of this year. And then we'll start celebrating the 26th. But for now, we've got each month we've kicked off special bunch of bundles. And this bundle set is for May. This is for Modern Age. And there are 3 different bundles. They're super great. Pair nicely with a Modern Age powers, I might add. Go for it.
Yeah. So I've jumped us all to the next chapter because I cannot describe everything that is in the previous chapter.
Right.
About discussing how to walk you through setting up powers for your campaign or for your character.
Okay.
So this is a bunch of this is more general guidance about powers related to the setting, and it gives you a bunch of campaign models. And this was done by Age veteran Jack Norris. So shout out to Jack, right? And
some good stuff here. Hey, I have a quick question for you. Malcolm, so let's say I'm brand new and I'm pick up Modern Age powers and I grab the corresponding bundle. How do you recommend I dive into this? Like, should I skim? Should I read cover to cover? Should I is there a methodology?
Give it a skim and then read the parts that interest you with an eye towards how you want to use them.
Oh, nice,
right?
Nice. Okay.
Like the main thing is what you want to do will determine your usage of this, right? And then, zip into a little more because so much of it can be modified, reskinned, tweaked. So even if you're just doing a modern magic game, right? A lot of the stuff in the psychic section is still gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But another thing you can do if you're like just totally, empty slate is you can try out one of the campaign frameworks.
Nice.
So, and they are coded for what modes are preferential. So we have the pulpy Project Unique. Project Unique is our alternate superpowered World War II, where where a combination of sort of famous psychotherapists and war planners discover that radical self-actualization can produce superpowers in a small proportion of people, right? So who has powers?
I do. Oh, wait, no. What?
Yes.
Hey, great.
Yes. People who have the potential and are allowed and celebrated in the way they live, right? Are allowed to become, they gain powers. They gain powers from radical self-actualization.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I like that.
So
now how do those powers manifest themselves then? Are you
well, I mean, in the usual superpowery way, right?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Wake up one day and
there's a training facility where people trained by Wilhelm Reich and Carl Jung get you to really open up, right? But that also means that we can have very how do I put it? Very insistent representation in a period where that was, where queer, trans, and other types of representation, where there was social repression and legal repression, right?
Yeah, right.
So we wanted to make a setting that is historically, you know, historically situated, but not restrictive, right?
I like that.
And
I like that
we
a
did
lot.
that by tweaking with the metaphysics, and
Excellent.
and
Oh,
each of
Stan,
them
I
based.
know. Hold on one second, Stan. I know exactly what you're talking about. He's not going to hear this for maybe 10 minutes, I think, because we are. He's back in the. He's back a little bit in the video. So, but I know what he's talking about. There were like they look like a stem, some kind of like one said skeletal, one said musculature or something. They're like, are they potions that you kind of inject?
They're an example of like how your character might get powers in like a science fiction setting. Right?
I see. Gotcha. Yeah. Yep. Right.
So,
Stormer
yes,
says.
Scott therapy is
That's
got superpowers. That's
great.
how it works. Next is Immortal Ring, which is our superpowered martial arts
Oh, nice.
thing. So if you're into like Mortal Kombat and things like that, right? You have these like demigod like martial artists, some of whom have used internal cultivation methods to live forever, and you get invited to the special tournament.
I see.
Right, and we have how would you use the powers, and of course again we have just capsule descriptions of NPCs, and we have this one which I'm going to cheat and look at the oh yeah, Phoenix Band.
Yeah.
You are basically
Right.
a bunch of people you are a bunch of individuals who were put in a magical prison for magical creatures, but now evil has come into the world and they need you.
Oh, I see.
Right. So, it's kind of like, Harry Potter before J.K. Rowling disappointed us all,
Right.
combined with the Dirty Dozen.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
Right.
That's a well-worn, comfortable, well-tread sort of story trope of the, hey, you're in the prison but we need you to do the thing. So we're going to give you something on your body, whether it's a collar or that's going to track you. And if I'm kind of reading here as well. You've got, what is this? The Phoenix Band members get a tattoo.
Yes.
Nice. And then, so then if you do something bad, then it'll heat up and cause you some grief.
And again, we have our signature characters, and we have From Afar, which is just weird stuff.
Okay.
Right? It's something where we basically posit a world that is much stranger than our own, and you are operatives who deal with that, for a living out of passion.
I love it.
Yes, but also let us never speak of it that way again.
Yeah, that's
right?
visceral. Okay, no, so Afar is written in all caps. Is that does that mean something?
Yes, it is an acronym that I will tell you about very soon.
Yes.
So soon that it's going to take me a little time. The Arcane Foundation for the Advancement of the Remarkable.
Okay, I like it.
Yes. A school for exceptional people, a society for troubleshooting weird problems, and a parapowered, that's the term Afar uses, support group founded by the Arcane family, a polyamorous triad of eccentrics and miracle workers.
A support group, you say? Oh, I see. They've got so basically the vegan werewolf. This is great. I'm reading their 12 steps. That's so funny. This is great. Okay. All right. I'm wrapping my mind around
this. So like I said, we have a whole bunch of campaign outlines that we have made. Never read that book, but I'm sure they did a great job at Monte Cook Games.
Yeah. So this could be something like Umbrella Academy kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be that, definitely that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then we go to, I'm going to go to the next one. There we go.
The Department of Apocalypse Management.
And
Oh,
and we have a whole bunch of new enemy ally type stats.
cool.
Right. So, animated gun. So I was happy to see this one because of because of something that I ran in a Mage the Ascension game like more than 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago. But the character had awakened the spirit of his pistol, right?
Okay.
So the gun was sort of semi-conscious, and it was really into its nature, and it really liked to shoot.
Right.
And so they were in this Arctic military base, and they were surrounded, and the guy who had awakened his gun grabs a soldier as a hostage and holds the gun up to him. And he's going, okay, everybody, let's just calm down. And then in the middle of it, I was running the game, go, bang. and so my friend, Steve, kind of went, and then there was a big fight. So
nice. I like it.
Big fan of animated firearms. Bioroid infiltrator. So artificial person.
A
Getting in your business.
bioroid, did that say?
Bioroid. That is something that I stole from Masamune Shiro, who uses it as a term for organic artificial people in some of his work.
Sure. Yeah.
Appleseed is the big one.
Okay. Yeah.
And we also have another like more Terminator like one in Enemies and Allies, which, if you're going to run, combat precog. So these are people who can see into the future and fight you with it. Yep. And can you actually like pull back a little?
I can. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Let me,
I can. Yeah. So they have their own like precognitive stunt set, as you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that is blurry as all heck.
Hold on. I can't see which one that is because it's covered in the little doohickey I can use to turn the page, Troy.
Oh, what is it? You look at the top there. What do you want?
No, I just want to know what it is.
Hover off of it.
Oh, it's still there. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Can you zoom out just a little more?
Sure.
Like the stat blocks. Yeah, Curie. So that is somebody who has been infected with not very scientifically accurate radiation.
Okay.
And can get other people with it. Oh, cyber demon. So this is one that
you should have read the EULA.
This is one where actually the illustration of this creature is on the cover of Enemies and Allies, but we never did stats for it before. So this has the stats, but not the illustration. What else do we got here? We got Dream Sling. I forget what those are. Oh, latent psychics that can get into your head.
Okay, I see. Oh, look at that. Nanodrome
Swarm. Yeah. So, it's from a variety of different inspirations. So
thanks,
not
sir,
just all one.
Stormer.
Yeah. Nensha. Urban legend kind of creature. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Classic.
Psychic beast. So those are creatures that have been modified to enhance them and awaken their psychic potential.
I'm sure that's not painful
so we
at
can
all.
put some genres in a blender.
Right. That's fun.
Oh, and Spellbreaker. So these are like
Oh,
anti-wizard special forces.
oh sure. That's great. I love it.
Yeah. Yes, and I like the patch with the motto, "Don't what thou want." Oh, don't what thou willst, or something like that.
Yeah. Don't what thou will oh yeah, okay, gotcha. This is a great idea. Very cool.
Yeah. And finally, we end with an appendix about how to use this with different age games.
Synth Weasel sounds like they came right out of the Modern Age Powers book. A mixture of Weasel and synth, I'm thinking like 80s synth. But yeah, that's great. I'm glad you're stoked about that synth.
Yeah. So we have guidance for, just general guidance, and also specific guidance for some of our games, such as Fantasy Age and Cthulhu Awakens.
Cool.
And that's
Saw Blue
all she
Rose
wrote.
there,
I would
and
love to, include stuff for our licensed games,
right,
but we can't quite do that.
right.
And do we have a treatment for Blue Rose in there? I believe we do. Yeah. So we have specific treatments for Fantasy Age, Blue Rose, and Cthulhu Awakens, but we also have general guidance for all games. And also, if you look at what our 3 sample games are, you can pretty much extend it to any of our other lines, right?
Yeah.
If you just use if I gave you the full explanation behind the ancient mystery, it is stop being mysterious. Very true.
That's right.
So yeah, that is the book, in a very, loose, high level coverage that nevertheless took almost an hour
That's right. And we
to get through,
barely got
because
through it.
this is a very, very dense book.
Well, Malcolm gets into it, talks a little bit about sort of even a more top level in his latest Ronin Roundtable, and I'm dropping the link to that. That's the blog, and you can go read that. You'll head over to the store when you're done, no doubt, and pick up the Modern Age Powers pre-order, which will then get you a $5 PDF that you get to download today. We'll actually send it straight to your inbox. And you can do all of that by looking at if you see on the screen there's the QR code. Take your phone, give it a shot, and it will take you directly to the Modern Age Powers pre-order, which is, one second as I clickety clack around on the web, and I lost my page in a freak backing up too far accident. And let's see, here we go. Because maybe you thought, I'll just pick up a couple things from Modern Age May, maybe a bundle here, a bundle there. Or maybe you're thinking, I want my GM to do this stuff. I'm going to pick up a bundle for them. You can pick up the softcover pre-order for $39.95. Throw another $5 into the register, and you will get the PDF today.
Yeah. I want to address something from Duke, easy to put things in a different dress. So I want to talk about reskinning and recontextualizing powers a little bit.
Yeah.
We kind of walked a bit of a tightrope here because I didn't want all the powers to be the same. And so we have a whole bunch of resources to make that happen, to give each type of power its own flavor. But we wanted to leave the door open for you to do the work, right? To reskin and do those things and make it as easy as possible. So I guess what I'm trying to get across is we wanted to make sure that you could just take it and use it as is, right? And have atmosphere from using it as is, right? But you can go deeper also if you want. And it's very important for me from kind of a game design perspective to have that capability to be able to run things and play with things at different depths, right? Like and it's not just, oh, I know more about the game, so I'm going to dig in. Like sometimes you want to interact at different levels. Like I was actually talking in a meeting today about I did a little project where I ran first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons totally by the book.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that it becomes a hyper detailed skirmish game with all kinds of rules for positioning and who has the longer weapon and things like that. Right.
Yeah. More of like, yeah, exactly. Like a minis game almost.
Yeah. Yeah. But after you gain a few levels, you don't really want to bother with that anymore. Right. So you back it up a little bit. You maybe use just the general overview of the rules and you run with that.
Right.
Right. So, those options are always kind of there. And age, one of the things about age is you can kind of do this stuff on the fly, right? You can go like, I want to use the psychic discipline, but I want to use it as magic. Can I do that?
Right, right.
And it literally takes the GM like 2 minutes to look over what's there and go yes or no, or maybe make this little change, right?
Yeah.
And so we want to enable that for people. And speaking of making a little change,
yes,
if you have not gotten the rules update, you should.
That's right. The rules update. Give us while I dig up that link, give us a little, what is it?
So we originally put this in the Modern Age Mastery Guide, but keep in mind that is by no means not the only thing in the Modern Age Mastery Guide. It's huge. And it is about as dense as this book and full of different options to tweak the game to be exactly the way you want it to be, right? But this particular section of it, which we've spun out into its own free thing, is after we released the game and we ran it and played it some more, there were some adjustments that we wanted to make. For clarity's sake, to add a couple more options or to, sort of rethink things that didn't quite work the way we wanted them to. So all of those things are things that we recommend you use as core rules, right? And that includes, I think a lot of people are familiar with the revision to stun attack or stun action because that's in Fantasy Age 2nd Edition, where it's a 2 stunt point or stunt die on doubles. We have different rules for grenades. We have different rules for using 2 weapons. We have options that make character creation a little more flexible, and things like that. Just things that fine tune the game because Modern Age is so solid, right?
Yeah,
and it's good to kind of extend its life, right? We want you to be playing with this and fooling around with it because what makes people get games is playing games. And the other thing you should do is when you run games like Modern Age and you want more people to get them and run them and keep the line healthy, talk about it. Talking about play is the number one thing you can do to make a game healthy from a player's fans' perspective.
Okay,
right?
I like that. Yeah.
Because it's one thing to talk about, your theoretical interests and issues with a game, but it's another thing to talk about, the actual game you're running and the stories that are being output and so on and so forth. So
Yeah, real quick, I want to touch on the free download. I dropped a link to the freeronin.com site.
Yeah.
You'll find all kinds of good stuff across all of our lines, but this, I think we're specifically talking about the recommended rules reference.
Yes, the recommended rules reference.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll also find, I love this. There's some great other things in here, particularly the Adventure Spark when a plan comes together PDF.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that. Check that out, friends.
And somebody was asking about Dwar, Swords of the Shadow Planet, eh? Well, it is text complete and in the queue.
Nice.
Yes. So not only that, but I'm very close to finishing engine number 3.
That's right.
And engine number 3 has something really new and big and something that we may be doing further work with.
Okay.
And I don't want to tell you what it is yet, but
no, yeah.
but we will make some noise about it.
We will. Yeah, we're going to have an event for that.
Worth making noise about. Sorry?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to have an event for that, for the
Yes.
release of that. It'll be a lot of fun, and we'll make sure everyone gets the updates on that. But hey, my friend, we are now exactly out of time, and we even started a minute early, so people get a bonus minute.
Yeah.
So hey, if folks want to engage with you, or they want to, shall they look for you in the tank, on the grad? Where?
I come to the tank sometimes, but I spend a lot of time on the grad.
Okay, great.
Right. In the channels for the age lines that I work on.
Fantastic. Right? So jump into our Discord. That is, Duke, will you drop the link? Do you have it handy? Because I do not, and I don't have Discord up right now. But yeah, we have recently become we've absorbed ourselves into the grad, and we are now collaborating with our community on building up that space. And so, maybe we'll even do our event, coming up for the engine number 3, in the Discord. We'll have to talk about that. Duke, thank you so much. Hey, friends in chat, thank you so much for all your excellent questions, for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. And of course, mega thank you to Malcolm for stopping by and giving us all the details on the Modern Age Powers pre-order release. And we're really looking forward to hearing, is it the grad or the grad? I call it the grad, but you can call it, whatever you like.
Ronin Grad.
Yeah, it's the Green Ronin Atomic Assembly Discord. Little clever thing that we did there. Thank you, Duke. Duke has dropped the link in chat. But yeah, so I think, my friend, that's about it. Anything else you want to share with folks as we kind of close out our program for the day?
Oh yeah, there's another Modern Age release coming that we didn't announce previously, and I'll talk to you about it when that happens.
Nice. Well, that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. Why do I have 40 different kinds of music playing right now? Because I'm weird. But yeah, with that, I say again, thank you to chat. Thank you to Malcolm. Folks, head on over to the store, pick up your Modern Age May bundles, and of course, your pre-order for Modern Age Powers. And then come and hang out with us next Thursday. We're going to be, I know I promised you that we would have an Ian Lemke, but we decided to move things around because we really wanted to talk about Modern Age Powers with Malcolm. So next Thursday, Ian Lemke we'll be talking The Expanse, and we'll get a little Cthulhu Awakens in there as well. But it should be a lot of fun. Yep, that's all, my friends. Have a great rest of your week, and we will talk to you Monday for Mutants Masterminds Monday. Bye.
Farewell.